Hello people, and welcome to Crypto Exposed. Okay guys, I got a post here that's been reposted by the Hedera Foundation by CNBC, and they say, call on cryptos, sounding bullish on the prospects of crypto assets clinching the current momentum. Vignesh Raja talks of the advent of new money into the market. In fact, Vignesh believes that the increased interest in new money into cryptos is here to stay. Okay, so quickly just showing you who is Vignesh Raja. So you've got his profile here and it mentions the Hedera Foundation. So this is a guy who clearly works for the Hedera Foundation, going by his profile. And he's talking about what he's experiencing at the moment in terms of crypto. And I watched this, it's only 2 minutes, so not a very long video, but enough to give you the, the insight into what's going on. And he said, at the moment, what they're getting is a lot of talk about tokenization, which it makes sense because I've said this before, but I do think tokenization is going to be one of the main use cases for crypto technology in general. I think a lot of people are going to want to start tokenizing things because it is just going to make things a lot easier. 24/7 access, instant settlement, that kind of thing, fractionalized ownership. So there's plenty of benefits that's going to come along with tokenization. So I do think this is what's going to be the real beginning of mass adoption, and we're kind of seeing that now, right? Like there's plenty of things that I've shown you recently and over my time here with people tokenizing on Hedera with like real estate, properties, diamonds, funds, financial instruments, that kind of stuff. I've shown you numerous stuff before that's being tokenized, so you can literally see it happening underway. I do think this will have like a snowball effect eventually. I think as like crypto gets more adopted and the mainstream adoption comes in and regulations and stuff like that, I think eventually you'll have that snowball effect where it just really like picks up heavily, because as Leemon Baird said, I do think eventually everything of value will be tokenized. But yeah, I thought this was interesting. As I say, it's very short, but the thing for me is what I'm just trying to show you guys is, look, whether we, have this whole bull run and then eventually go into a bear market and, we're going through the same 4-year cycles and whatnot, it doesn't matter, because a lot of people think that when you're in a bear market, they think it's the end of crypto, right? Like this is what people think. They think, oh, crypto's done, HBAR's done, or whatever name your crypto is done, because they're not showing like price appreciation and stuff like that. You've got to understand, this is just cyclical nature. This isn't a thing where anything you're seeing about price is really dictating the actual value of the token at the moment, because we're in a speculative market right now. That's where we are at this point. So a lot of this is all just, the ebbs and flows of the market. It's no real indicator to what's going on with the actual network itself or the crypto itself. And so the thing that I'm just trying to explain here is, just know that there's real long-term value in crypto. Like the use cases that will be able to be given via this technology, it is going to change industries. So to me, like the one thing that I'm not concerned with is thinking that crypto is going to die. Now, I will say this, I do think you have to be involved in the right networks, because I don't think all networks will survive long-term. I do think there will be a select few that will survive and have long-term viability. But if you are in the right networks, which we'll soon find out, time will answer that, I think you stand to benefit greatly, and in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I can't say for certainty at all, I think Hedera will be one of the successful chains. I really do. I think the hashgraph will be a successful network, and I think it will be utilized on a bigger scale over time. So for me, when I hear this, it just instills confidence that I already had about, crypto not really going anywhere. And for me personally, like HBAR's future, because as I said here specifically, when Vignesh is talking, he's talking about like institutions coming to, the Hedera Foundation, talking about like tokenization and stuff like that. So it sounds like they're getting quite a bit of institutional interest. So it does sound like they're, they're starting to get those calls and people wanting to utilize the network. And so, as I've said always before, like, don't just dictate your feelings on price, right? Like I was saying this, like before we even got into this, this bull run, I was saying it when the price was low and everybody was saying Hedera is done. I was saying, hey, like, don't base your feelings on price, because price can be manipulated. Price can be, going through just a cycle at the time. It could just be the nature of the market, and if you're dictating your feelings on price, it doesn't really mean that that's what, is actually going on at the time. It could be that, we're in a bear market and you're thinking this is the end of HBAR when really you've just got to wait for the next bull run or something along those lines. Now, don't get me wrong, if you was to get some news that came out that was negative about Hedera, that was really concerning, then yeah, that's when you should start paying attention and thinking, okay, is this something I think is going to be okay in the long term, or is this a real big problem? And best believe that I would be someone who would cover it. I would give my opinion on that, but there's nothing like that, right? So the markets are thriving. Hedera is doing well from what I've seen. And so I just think about this, and I think this is just that reassurance to show you, the money that's coming into crypto, I don't think it's just going to come and go. We keep seeing these bull runs happen, but I think eventually these bull runs will phase out because people will be putting more and more money in, not just for the speculative nature of just trying to make money, but people will be putting money in to actually use the utility of these assets like tokenization and things like that. So it'll actually end up being a thing where it's not just speculative people coming in and FOMO buying and stuff like that, like buying and selling and trading and things. It'll be things where money's coming in for actual utility purposes. So it'll be real, institutional money flowing through the networks and stuff. And that's when, I think eventually the value of these chains will go up significantly. And then you won't really have as much of a chance to make big money out of these networks and these tokens. Because, if you look at the stock market now with how much value is in the stock market, if you see a share go down in a company of, let's just say 2%, that's a big drop, right? They're like, yo, what's going on? To us, 2% is nothing, right? We can see that literally within 5 minutes. That's just absolutely nothing to us. But eventually it will get boring like the stock market, because there will be so much value in that it'll take a lot more to really knock the price. So this is why, again, we're in such a great position, because we got here before all that. We're here to take advantage of the volatility that we currently have and being early in this asset class, which will eventually be utilized on a very big scale. And so, as I said before, if you're in the right tokens, I think you stand to make a lot of profit. I really do. So just thought I'd share this with you, but great stuff to see here, and just showing you crypto's here to stay. In my opinion, HBAR is one of those cryptos that's here to stay. I think it will have its place. And, for me, if you've ever got uncertainty, this kind of stuff should show you crypto's not going anywhere. So it's just about whether you're in the right tokens. And in my opinion, HBAR is one of the right tokens. Thank you very much for watching this. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. And hit that bell. Take care.